बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Let's try to sit up. Close eyes, keep the back straight, be alert. Focus the mind, meditate on the Supreme Lord and Spiritual Master. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnanan Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreyah kairavachandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalpada Namaste Kamalekshana Yo brahmanam virdhati purvam yo vai vedanscha prahinoti tasmai tagvang hadevam atma buddhi prakasham mumukshur vai sharanamaham prapadde. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Radha Rani ki jai, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Priya Sajjano, Priya Bhakt Samudaya, Mahanubhav, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and every one, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. This morning, I began speaking about the practical sadhana. I told you there are two kinds of bhakti. Prabhupada Maharaj says to Videhanimi in Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya vibhratyutpalakantanu. Eleventh Canto, 3rd chapter, 31st verse. Prabhupada Maharaj, one of the 9 Yogishwars, God among yogis, topmost saint, is saying to Videhanimi, we have to do bhakti to get bhakti. Tusidas also says in the Ramayana, Sadhan siddha Ram paganehu mohi lakhi parat bharat mat ehu. The sadhana bhakti sir is both a sadhan means a practice as well as siddh, a perfection. In other words, one bhakti we have to do. It's called Sadhana Bhakti. One we have to do preparatory devotion, practical devotion. And one bhakti we are going to get through the grace of a Rasik saint, one who's attained that perfect devotion himself, that divine love for Radha Krishna, for God, divine love, divine bliss, divine knowledge. When we take shelter in such a guru, and the vessel has become pure, the mind, the heart has become completely pure, he will shower his grace and we'll attain that infinitely divine Siddha Bhakti, perfect devotion. Why do we have to do Sadhana Bhakti? Because, as I told you, God has a condition for knowing Him. Niramal manajan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidra bhava. Bhagwan Shri Ram says to Sugriv in the Ramayana, only those whose heart is pure, pure heart, pure mind, can know God, see God, attain God. He says, I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. So we have to make the heart, the mind pure. I told you Shankaracharya also says to his mother, he's teaching Advaita Vedanta, non-dualism, but he teaches his own mother, Vishuddhayati hinantaratma Krishna padam bhoja bhakti mrite. Without bhakti, the path of love in God, devotion, the heart, the mind, without bhakti to Shri Krishna, the heart, the mind cannot be purified. We also saw Bhagwan Krishna saying to Uddhav in Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11th canto, 14th chapter, verse 25 and 26. First, verse 25, he says, Yathagnina he mamalam jahati, etc. I won't go in detail, it will take too much time. Just briefly, we did this morning already. Just as gold, when heated in fire, becomes purified of its dirt, impurities, glows and attains its pure form. In the same way, only when we shed tears of selfless love for God is the heart, the mind purified. 26th verse, he says, he just makes it the point even stronger. Yatha yathatma parimijjate sav, etc. This is when you apply anjan in the disease eye. In ancient time, there was an Ayurvedic medicine called anjan. Doesn't exist anymore, ancient time. Any disease in the eye, and you apply that anjan, slowly it will destroy the disease and we will see things clearly again. Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, just as when anjan applied to the disease eye, slowly destroys the disease and we're able to see things clearly again. In the same way, only by listening to the divine philosophy of Bhagavan, His divine pastime, glories, singing His divine name, etc., we chant, we shed tears of selfless love, is the heart, the mind purified. One medicine. No gyan, no yog, no karma, only bhakti and shedding tears. I mentioned also, yes, we have to shed tears, but these tears have to be shed only for Shri Krishna, for God. I gave the example of a dirty piece of cloth, a rag. It's been dirty for a long time. To clean that, you need pure water, nirmal pani. Pure water is two only, God and the saint who has attained God, who is God personified, the true Guru. When we shed tears for God and the saint, the heart, the mind purifies. It's the pure water washing the dirty cloth of the mind. When we shed tears for the world, it's like taking a dirty piece of cloth and dipping it in a bucket of dirty water. It gets more dirty. So, there are the rules. Main thing to understand, all spiritual practices, all religion, all spiritual practices ultimately is to make the heart, the mind pure. This is God's condition for knowing Him, seeing Him, attaining Him. Pure heart, pure mind. Whether it's Gyan, whether it's Karma, whether it's Bhakti, whatever. Only Bhakti does it. But the aim is to make the heart, the mind pure. There's a mantra in a lot of people do pujas on a religious occasion, when there's a wedding ceremony, or some people think there's a special occasion, or some people think once for the year I should call the Panditji to do a puja for me. In that puja, the very first mantra that the Pandit says, gives you water in the hand, and he says, okay, sprinkle it over you. The mantra is, apavitra pavitro va sarvasthangato piva yasmarit pundarikaksha sabahya bhyantara suchi. Padma Puran. Not Ved mantra, it's Padma Puran. What is mantra saying? Nobody bothers to understand. The mantra is saying, apavitra pavitro va. Whether someone is pure or impure. Take a bath, you didn't bathe for months. Whether you're clean or unclean. Apavitra pavitro va. Pavitra means pure. Apavitra means impure. Sarvasthangato piva. Wherever you are. You could be in the mandir, in the ram shop, in the road, in the toilet, wherever. In the burial ground, smashan ghat. Yasmaret pundarikaksha. Smaret, remember, means remember. The moment you remember pundarikaksha means Shri Krishna. The moment you remember Shri Krishna, what happens? You become pure on the inside as well as the outside. Sabahya bhyantara suchi. Where else is there to get pure? Is there a third place? Just remember Bhagwan. But nobody says that. Just remember, sit down now and meditate on Bhagwan. Puja finish. That's the first mantra, very first mantra. So the whole aim is making the heart, the mind pure. How do we do that? The very first thing, Shri Krishna says in chapter 6, verse 10, Gita. You can check it, read it up. When going to do sadhana, meditation, one has to be alone, ekaki. When you're doing sadhana, meditation, spiritual practice, alone, in a place of seclusion. The importance of seclusion doesn't mean you have to go in the forest or in a mountain cave or something, in your home itself. Some room, your bedroom or some other room that you have specially for that. You can be alone, sit down, you want to meditate on God. Why alone? And why in seclusion? The Vedas say, Virvikta sevi lagu bhavi. Same thing says in Gita also. A lamp in a windless place, flicker it not. Our mind is extremely chanchal. Arjun says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavaddham tasyaham nigaham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Chapter 6, verse 34. Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, he's teaching this chapter 6 how to control the mind. You have to do meditation, you have to sit in seclusion. Then Arjun says, this mind is so strong, turbulent, and unyielding. It's as difficult to control the mind as it is to control the wind. It's so wayward. So this seclusion will help to keep that flickering mind, the wandering mind from wandering, the wayward mind from wandering. It will help. Look, our mind can be compared to milk and the world to water. If you mix milk and water, it becomes impossible to separate it. Difficult to separate. Now, take the same milk and boil it. Boil the milk. Then let it cool down to a certain temperature. Not too cold, not too hot. Let it cool down to a certain temperature. Then take some yogurt, some dahi, and add it to the milk and stir it properly. Really stir it. Matho. Then cover that milk now and put it in a dark place and leave it for at least 2 hours. All the milk becomes dahi, yogurt. Now take that dahi, that yogurt, and churn it. Matho, churn it. You will get makhan, fresh butter. Take that butter now, ball of it, take that butter and throw it in the water. Throw it in the water. There's no danger. Now the butter challenges the water. Mix in me if you dare. So that's a very high stage. This sadhana we're going to do in seclusion is like making that milk into butter. That the world will no longer have any effect on you. Anywhere you can be, but not in the beginning. In the beginning you have to be very careful. A lot of time people plant trees and you will see them taking wire, etc., and blocking around the tree to protect the tree from animals, etc., insect, animals, people. They will block it around. But when the tree grows and becomes, when that plant, grows and becomes a full-blown tree, there's no danger. Now you can tie an elephant to it. So for the growing mind, you have to be very careful in the beginning. So the seclusion is very important. Being alone. Now, you have gone in the room to do sadhana, to do meditation, bhakti. Close the door, lock it. You live in a home, there are children, you have children, and you're sitting to do meditation, sadhana, and the child comes, mommy, okay, then you start playing with the child, all sadhana finish. This time is for you alone, you and Bhagavan. You got to take some time for yourself alone. Look, I mentioned this during the lecture series. This thing we have, which is called a body, is very important, this human body. One of the greatest gifts we can get from God is birth in the human form. Bare bhagya manushya tanu pava sur durlabh sadgrantha nigava. Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, it is the greatest fortune, the greatest gift, greatest fortune from God for the soul to acquire birth in the human form. God gives that. Sura Durlabh. Sura means Devatas. Agni, the god of fire. Vayu, the god of wind. Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain. They cannot get it. They are begging and praying for this thing, this human form, birth, and they can't get it. We have it, we don't understand the value. So this body is very important. Without the body, we can't exist. We need the body to do sadhana. So we have to keep it healthy. Tana binu bhajana vedana hi varna. If your body is sick, you have fever, body belongs to us. Remember that. My body, I'm not body. Our identification with the body, that's why we have all this problem in the world. We identify with the body. I'm a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, a Jain, a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, a Trinidadian, a Guyanese, American, Indian, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, so many titles. These are all titles of body. If I'm the body, fine. Then I'm all those things. But I'm not the body. I'm soul, Atma. Body belongs to me. We say my body, my head is hurting me. My body is paining. Just like we say, this is my house. This is my motor car. I never say I am the house, I am the motor car. Then I'm not the body. Body belongs to me. I'm soul, Atma. So, but we need the body. So if there's some fever, there's some pain, you have COVID, you have headache, and you sit down and try to do sadhana, you want to chant Maha Mantra, instead of saying Hare Ram, high pain, the mind will go where the pain is. So it's important to keep the body healthy. Shri Krishna tells us in the Gita. Right? I went into detail before. Take the right amount of vitamins, mineral, protein, everything the body requires. Not too much, not too less, not too little. The right amount. Keep the body healthy, exercise, eat the right kind of food, etc. So just as we eat, we give the body vegetable, we give it rice, we give it bread, roti, soup, so many different things. To keep it healthy, we eat. Can we give some of that to the soul, the Atma? No. Why? Because soul is divine. Being a fraction of God, just as God is divine, soul is also divine, divya. So we have to give it divine food. We give the body is material, earth, water, fire, air and space. Kshiti jala pavaka gagana samira. Panchara chitta yaha adhama sarira. Body made the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. So we give it material things. It's material. Soul is divine. We have to give it divine food. What is divine food? When we go in the room and sit down and do meditation, sadhana. We do bhakti, we shed tears for God. This is food for the soul, the Atma. We eat food every day, sometimes 3 times a day at least. If you miss one meal, some of us, we feel like we want to die. And we never think about feeding ourselves. And we never feel badly. We have to feed the self also, ourself. That's why Sri Krishna says you have to do meditation, dhyan, sadhana. So now in the room, you lock the door, what to do next? So there are 3 Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra for meditation. First Brahma Sutra, Asinah Sambhavat. Asinah Sambhavat, first mantra. When you're going to do sadhana, meditation, we have to sit. Like how I cross my leg. Don't do lotus. Just cross it like this. Palti marke. Sit like this. This is the best position for doing sadhana. This is what is recommended in the scriptures. Sri Krishna also mentions sitting on different things. Not going to go in all that detail. You can read for yourself. Sit and cross with the leg crossed. Don't stand. You're going to get tired. If you lie down, you'll get too comfortable, fall asleep, you lean against a wall or something. You sit in a chair, again you get too comfortable, you fall asleep. So this is the best, this is why this position is mentioned. Sit with the legs crossed. First mantra. Second mantra, achala tvacha peksham. Be alert, keep the back straight. When you're doing dhyan, especially in the beginning, you're doing sadhana, dhyan, meditation, keep the back straight. alert. Slouch in, slackness in posture, etc. will again make that fickle mind wander. So especially in the beginning, you have to be alert. You have to focus the mind. Don't lean against the wall, etc. The mind will, you get too comfortable, the mind will wander. It's already so fickle. So be alert. Keep the back straight. Number 3, dhyanach. The third mantra, dhyan. Dhyan means meditation. Meditate. Now, a lot of things has been mentioned by people about meditation. In the world today, all kinds of things you hear. Some people say meditate on the light. Some say think about nothing. Some say just look at your thoughts. All this doesn't work. Nobody can think about nothing. Impossible. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Chapter 3, verse 5, Gita. Shri Krishna says it's impossible to be inactive even for a moment. But I'm sitting, I'm lying down, yes, but the mind is thinking. It is the mind which is the performer of the action. Mind has to do bhakti. We do, as I mentioned this morning, we do everything. We do puja, we do havan, we do rituals, we do place of pilgrimage, we sing God's name, all with the sense organs. Where the mind is, nobody pays attention. That's why we don't benefit. Mind is most important. The Vedas say, Mana eva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshayoho Brahma Bindu Upanishad, second mantra. The mind, man, ev alone, manushyanam, human beings. Karan is the cause, bandhan of bondage, moksha, liberation. The mind alone is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. The mind alone is the performer of the action. God knows where the mind is. You're doing bhakti, you're doing puja where the mind is. If the mind is in the world, you're worshiping the world. If you're thinking about Bhagavan, then you're doing puja. Otherwise, just physical drill. You're doing jap. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. And I have to go and meet Hanuman. I have to go and meet this fella. I have to go over there. I have to go in the shop and buy this. And Hare Krishna, Hare. What are you doing? People go in the store. Hey, how are you? I need this thing here. Hare Krishna, Hare. The whole thing is just I have to do so many mala and finish it. Nobody's thinking about God. Whose name I am taking, nobody's thinking. There's no dhyan. That's why we don't benefit. So meditate on God. So that first to begin, you can't think about nothing. The mind cannot remain there, it will go. And secondly, we are thinking so much foolishness, bad thoughts, wrong thoughts every moment. You're going to look at that and that will be meditation. Wrong. If we keep looking at the light, after a while you get no kind of happiness. It's given bliss. You get bored, you'll fall asleep. So, Jagat Gurutam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu says, Roop Dhyan. Roop means form. Dhyan means meditate. Meditate on the form of God, on the form of a saint who is God personified. Meditate on the form. Meditate. Do Roop Dhyan. To help in that, we have to do Sankirtan. We have to chant. Nama Leela Gunadina Muchair Bhasha Tu Kirtanam. Bhakti Samit Sindhu. Rup Goswami Maharaj says in the Bhakti Samit Sindhu, the loud chanting of the name, the qualities, the pastimes, the attributes, etc. of God is called Sankirtan or Kirtan. Why loudly, later on will come, there's a lot of benefit. Mental repetition of a name will give the same benefit, but there are some benefits in loud chanting that we don't get in mental repetition. All that will come in, will go to. So choose some bhajans written by saint. Very important. Written by saint. Don't sing worldly songs written by worldly people, film song. It has God's name, but you won't get benefit. You end up getting loss. Look, when someone becomes a saint, he attains God realization, he stops doing everything. Why do we perform any action? Because we want something. We want happiness. True happiness. Being a fraction of God, happiness. God is, I mentioned this morning already, another name for Sri Krishna in the Vedas, Anand, bliss, happiness. And being a fraction of Sri Krishna, that's why we all want only happiness. So, when someone has attained that infinite happiness, he should not be doing anything anymore. He doesn't. From that moment onwards, whatever the saint does, Shri Krishna is doing, God is doing. Jo kare so Hari kare. Why do we worship Ramayana, Gita, Bhagavad, all these scriptures? If we taught a man wrote this, nobody would worship Ramayana, Gita, Bhagavad. Oh no, we know that Bhagwan Shri Ram himself wrote his charitra, his autobiography through the pen of Tulsidas, through the pen of Valmiki. No saint does anything. Veda Vyas is not doing anything. Shri Krishna is writing. God is writing. That's why we worship it. We look at Bhagavad Mahapurana as personification of Shri Krishna himself. Ramayana is Shri Ram himself. So when a saint is writing, he's composing some bhajan, divine song. Number one, he is not doing it, Bhagwan is doing it. So it's divine. Number two, it is filled with divine power. So when we sing the bhajans and kirtan written by saint, Tulsidas, Surdas, Meera, Tukaram, Nanak, Jagar Gurutam, Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, etc., there's power, divine power. You're going to get more, it's going to help you more. But when a worldly person writes a bhajan or some song, number one, he's material, he's a material person. So whatever he's writing is going to be material. He's going to put worldly thing. He's be asking God for the world. There'll be a lot of wrong things, fault, mistake. And because worldly person is writing, it won't give benefit. So choose bhajans written by a saint. 10, 20. And chant, meditate, shed tears. There's much, much more. How to shed the tears, how to meditate on the form of God. We have never seen God. And how can we meditate on God's form, etc. We will hear all of that. We have 2 lectures tomorrow and then one Monday. So through that we will hear everything. So today we have heard, first to begin, we have to go in a place by ourselves. Sri Krishna says, Ekaki, chapter 6, verse 10. In chapter 6, he's talking about how to meditate. Sit with the legs crossed, preferably. If you can't do it, if something is wrong, then with your foot, etc., then sit on a chair. But this is the best position. Be alert, keep the back straight, focus the mind. And dhyanacha, meditate. But roop dhyan, meditate on the form of God, on the form of the saint. And along with that, to help in that meditation, sing some kirtan, chant Maha Mantra, chant some bhajan and kirtan written by saints, by true saints. The rest, so there's going to be a continuation. As I said, there's so much things we still have to hear. We'll hear that in the following lectures. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. We're going to chant. So we're going to go into a bhajan. As I said, used in bhajans and kirtan written by saints. So I'm going to give you an idea how Jagat Guru Tam Kripalu Mahaprabhu, one of his bhajan, I'm going to sing here. And so this bhajan on page 33. This bhajan says, I'll go through briefly. Dharu Nanda Nandan ko dhyan re. So, sadhak or saint, the guru is saying to the sadhak, focus the mind, contemplate the mind, meditate on Sri Krishna. The mind, contemplate the mind on the supreme divine beloved Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Baba, Nanda Nandan. Jako dhyan dharat nishivasar vidhi hari har pad vidhi hari har bhagavan re. So that same Sri Krishna who Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, these are the three personifications of Sri Krishna. I'm not going to go in detail here. Sri Krishna is supreme Brahm. From a form of Sri Krishna is known as Mahavishnu. Yasyaika nishwasita kalamatthavalambya jivanti loma bilja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 48. Vedavyasji said, I am a worshipper of that Sri Krishna Govind, whose partial manifestation is known as Mahavishnu. So a manifestation, a descension of Sri Krishna is Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu comes three descensions. I'm not going to go into detail. There's another Vishnu, and then from that come three Vishnu. There's three Vishnus. But just to understand this point now. So three descensions, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv. Same Shri Krishna, three forms. That same Shri Krishna is Mahavishnu. Don't see a difference. Different form to do different work, that's all. So then that form takes three forms for three different work. As Brahma, he creates the universe. Shri Krishna creates the universe as Brahma. As Vishnu, he sustains the universe. And as Shiv, he destroys the universe. So only one Bhagavan, one God. But to do that work, he takes these three different forms. So they are also worshipping Shri Krishna, being the supreme Brahman. How to meditate on the Shri Krishna? So here he is helping us. Shri Krishna, he wears a Mor Mukut. He wears a crown with a peacock feather, Mor Mukut. Every saint who have talked about how Shri Krishna, they have given different description. But one thing they have all put, he has a feather of a peacock. Nobody puts a feather of a pigeon or something else, or a duck. Peacock feather. Right? Mor Mukut. Lakuti, he has a golden stick, and that stick is wrapped around a shawl, a beautiful yellow shawl he has around his shoulders. And Lajavati Bhrikuti Kamanari. His eyebrows are so beautiful, they bend so beautifully that they put a bow to shame. So this is just helping us how to meditate on Shri Krishna. To use that to help you to meditate. Chanchala Nayana Diganchala Chanchala Anchala Pata Paharanare. Shri Krishna's eyes are very naughty. He is very naughty. He is known as Natakat. Mischievous, very mischievous. And his eyes, so those eyes, he's looking and glancing at the blessed souls, the gopis, etc., stealing their heart. And he's stealing your heart also, let him steal your heart. And he is also wearing yellow clothes, pitambar, that is fluttering in the wind. Very beautiful silk and yellow clouds. Gati madamat gayanda lajavani manda manda musukanare. His walk is so beautiful. He sways as he walks. So beautiful. It puts an intoxicated, a young elephant to shame. An elephant sways as it walks. It puts an elephant to shame. And he has a very beautiful, slow, beautiful, sweet smile on his lips that steals the heart of the devotees also. Biharat nitya kripalu brindavan rasi rasa chaturas sujanare. Every moment Kripalu Mahaprabhu is saying, who's written this beautiful part, he's actually seeing this right now. And while he's writing it, the saint is actually seeing. Not from thinking, but seeing, actually seeing. She's saying that Sri Krishna is performing all types of pastimes in Vrindavan every moment, and he's a connoisseur of divine love. Meditate on that, Sri Krishna. So we're going to sing and try, as the part is saying, try to see if you can meditate also. Nanda Nandana ko dhyan re dharu Nanda O Nanda Nandana ko dhyan re dharu Nanda
ko dhyan re dharu
जाको ध्यान धरत निशिवासर जाको ध्यान धरत निशिवासर
जाको ध्यान धरत निशिवासर
विधि हरिहर भगवान रे धरु
विधि हरिहर भगवान रे धरु
ओरे धरु
रे धरु
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
मोर मुकुट लकुटी लिपटी पट लज्जवती भ्रिकुटी कमान रे धरु
लज्जवती भ्रिकुटी कमान रे धरु
रे नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धर
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
चंचल नयन दिगंचल चंचल
चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
अंचल पट पहरान रे धरु
अंचल पट पहरान रे धरु
रे धरु ओ नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
गति मद मत गयंद लजावनी
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 मंद मंद मुस्कान रे धरु
मंद मंद मुस्कान रे धरु
रे धरु ओ नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरु
विहरत नित कृपालु वृंदावन
विहारत नित्य कृपालु वृंदावन
विहरत नित्य कृपालु वृंदावन
विहारत नित्य कृपालु वृंदावन
रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
ओ रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
रे धरू रे धरू ओ नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरू ओ चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
चंचल नयन दृगंचल चंचल
चंचल
Clap, sing loudly.
दृगंचल चंचल
अंचल पट पहरान रे धरू
अंचल पट पहरान रे धरू
रे धरू ओ नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरू
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरू
विहरत नित कृपालु वृंदावन
विहारत नित्य कृपालु वृंदावन
रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
रतिरस चतुर सुजान रे धरू
रे धरू ओ राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे राधे
राधे गोविंद
राधे राधे
राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
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 ओ राधे राधे
राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
ओ राधे राधे राधे
राधे राधे राधे
ओ जय 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 श्री राधे
जय 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 श्री राधे
ओ जय 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 श्री राधे
जय 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 श्री राधे
ओ राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरू
नंद नंदन को ध्यान रे धरू
बोलिए नंद नंदन भगवान की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे।